Welcome back. Paul Catalina's Top 5, number 50s today, brought to you by Texas Beef House. And remember, use promo code SICK'EM10. Anytime you do that. Looking forward to Smokey's reaction to a couple of these in particular. Number 5 is probably number 1 in Smokey's heart. Dave Rimington. Dude's got a trophy named after him because he was the best offensive lineman maybe in the history of college football. He was that good. That's not hyperbole. He was the perfect Nebraska offensive lineman. Look at that old school face mask. You got to love it. But as far as college football goes, when I looked up number 50s, it was down to him and Dick Butkus. But Dick Butkus is maybe more remembered as number 51 for the Bears. So
both have an award named after him.
Yes, both have an award named after him. So I went with Dave Rimington because most people think of Dick Butkus as 51. So I went with Dave Rimington here. Smokey, your thoughts on the great Dave Rimington?
3-year starter for an offensive line that was turning out fifth-year players, the red shirt program that they had on the offensive line, and God help them with their weight program with Epley. Yeah, there's a reason why the offensive line position has his name on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was that good. Yeah. And the thing is, he was a part of the 83 team that lost to Miami that opened up that can of worms. But he was a part of some great teams, but never a national championship team.
He's got the tape on the fingers, old school. I love it. I love it. There was no GIF of him, by the way. He's too old of a player to have a GIF on there, or GIF, whatever you want to say, depending on what part of the country you're from. Number 4, Ralph Sampson, Houston Rockets. He wore number 52 in college, but he wore number 50 with the Rockets and was one of the most exciting players in the NBA, was there for the early run there with Hakeem Olajuwon, especially. But, I mean, come on, look at this. Look at that dunk. Whoop-bam!
Yep. Right
there with Ralph Sampson. Smokey, more from your era than mine or Craig's.
Lost to Chaminade Madonna. No, it was to, what was the name of the school in Hawaii that beat them? When he was at Virginia with their number 1 team. No, Ralph Sampson, Twin Towers they had. A great player, and one of the best athletic 7-footers. I mean, Wilt probably was the greatest ever 7-footer as far as athleticism, but a hell of a player, and somebody that you sometimes wonder, did he ever get enough credit when he entered the NBA because he was known as such a great player, but they never won it all at Virginia.
Yeah, never did. Number
Chaminade? Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, number 3. Mookie Betts. I couldn't find a more outdated picture. I'm sorry. It's tough these days.
No.
I mean, look, I couldn't.
No.
I looked. Apparently, the internet stops after this point.
So bad.
It's just that, there's only a limited amount of information on it. So, he still wears number 50 in the whatever place he plays in now. But Mookie Betts, the best fielding right fielder I've ever seen, and now one of the best shortstops I've ever seen. And what's the Red Sox biggest position of need? Shortstop. But, if you knew his number was number 50, you know he'd have to be on this list because I love him unconditionally, even though the Red Sox traded him for, 10 Dunkin' Donuts, coupons, and a pack of cigarettes. So, but there we go. So, Mookie Betts, who I love. So,
did not remember. I didn't even realize he was 50.
Yeah, I think about him every day, so I knew. I knew. Number 2, our good friend. This was one we can legitimately say. I wish I could say number 3 was my good friend and still a Boston Red Sox, but Mike Singletary, frequent guest on the program. He's number 50, and this was the perfect one. If you look at the eyes just there staring at you, that's a very realistic portrayal there of Mike Singletary. As a matter of fact, if they made a movie about the 85 Bears, he would be the most difficult one to cast because you'd have to find somebody who could do this. And I think that's a unique – they should do a movie about the 85 Bears, by the way. But that would be a very tough cast. There'd be plenty of guys that maybe look like him or can talk like him or, move like him, built like him. But can you pull this off, or they have to CGI that in? But Mike Singletary was number 63 at Baylor. Which is a weird linebacker number, but number 50 for the Bears, and in that great Bears middle linebacker tradition. So, do you have any guesses, either of you, on who number 1 is?
At 50. Oral Hershiser.
He's 55.
Oh, that's right. He's 55.
He's 55.
50. Is there a spur?
Oh my gosh, Craig is a very smart guy.
I know who it is. Yep.
The Admiral,
Yep,
David Robinson.
It. Yep.
And you know, I went back and forth between Singletary and David Robinson, and here's why I went with David Robinson. All the titles in San Antonio. He's on the dream team, for crying out loud. Like, he was Olympian, Naval Academy, first pick in the draft. Like, this here is the greatest number 50 of all time. And he's also on my bucket interview list. I would love to interview David Robinson. One of my favorite basketball players of all time, too, but had to be this. And this wasn't just because he's one of my favorites, but, I mean, come on, the Admiral.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Robinson and Duncan both drafted as top picks for the Spurs when they tanked to get both of them.
Yep, absolutely. And this is when that was in his goggles phase.
Good call. Here. If that was the game, good call. It worked out really well. Getting both those guys.
Yeah. Now if they can hopefully they find somebody to go with Wemby, like they found Duncan to go with Robinson here. So
there you go.
We'll see what happens. Well, that's it. That's the top 5.
Well, that's a treat. A live